Well, all right.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen.
Hey,
Welcome
guys.
to the Michaud Show. This week's special guest, Tot Carlo.
I appreciate you. Thank you.
It's good to see you. Thanks for coming out.
Hey, man, it's my pleasure. Thanks for the dinner.
Oh,
Shit.
absolutely. Oh, we don't tell people about the dinner.
No dinner happened. I'm sorry.
That just leaves too much evidence of a good time, which the Michaud Show is a good time. So, any sponsors out there, feel free to leave comments down below. I'll have some advertisements in the description.
Please do.
Speaking of descriptions, you're a musician in the area. How would you describe your music?
I mean, somewhat. I would say that currently my music is specifically pop rock. I come from a background history of hip hop. I started writing rhymes in my English class in ninth grade, so that was like 1992, I want to say. Mrs. Greer, if you're still around and happen to be watching this, shout out to you. Thank you. She gave me a passing grade.
Thank you, Mrs. Greer.
I know, right? But it became a little more, and I did hip hop for 25 plus years. And, we can later on in the show break down how I made that transition.
Okay, cool. I noticed you almost had a little shrug when you said pop rock, man. And no, you can say it confidently. I mean, I wouldn't say it confidently, but I don't play pop rock because it would have to be popular. And shout out to all 30 of my fans out there. I just want to say I appreciate you. You keep me going every week. But it's great. I dig your sound. We first met
Appreciate that.
at the Mirkwood in Arlington.
That's right. Some years ago.
Shout out to the Mirkwood.
Yeah. Shout out to
I
Tyler,
have news about them later in the show.
Jake. Yeah.
But I was running sound there, and
Yeah.
you had come in for
My
open-
first time.
yeah,
Yeah,
open
that was
mic.
good.
That was a pretty fun one.
It was amazing, man. I'll tell you what, I still remember that night. So I had been working with one of my mentors, Craig Cabana. Shout out to Sure to Get Shot, punk rock band out of Everett, Washington. Craig's been a lead electric guitarist and song composer for decades. He's been in bands Green, not Volbeat, Jesus Christ. I was like, yeah, Volbeat. No. I forget Lucero. That was it. Yeah, my bad. But I expressed my interest to him in 2013 on learning how to play guitar, and he was quick to, because I had worked with him previously writing rap lyrics for one of his bands and stuff, and he took me under his wing 110%. And when I started getting full complete songs in about 2015 2016, he had put this little seed in my mind, and he was like, hey, have you ever thought about actually getting out and getting on stage and maybe performing them? And I was like, by myself? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It really just got me. And he was like, hey, there's a couple places locally. There's this little dive bar in downtown Everett. And at the time I lived in Marysville with my kids and my new girlfriend. Well, she was my best friend at the time, but now she's my bitch. So love you, Jess, just playing.
Hi, Jess.
Anyway, he was like, yeah, there's this joint out in Arlington called Mirkwood. And he's like, you'll know it's the right place because it looks like a church. And I was like, yeah, okay, bro. Yeah, and I got online, and they're like, yeah, open mic from 7 to 11 p.m., all ages after till 11. And I went there. You were there. And I just kind of plopped down my guitar, and I was like, hey, man, I just, I got these couple songs I just wrote and shit, and I was hoping to try them out. And I think the rest is history to all our local viewers and everybody who knows our relationship and I don't want to say popularity, but kind of like my incremental climbing in this genre knows that's like the birthplace of Tot Carlo.
It's a good spot. I love the Mirkwood just because it's been a spot where I've found a lot of bands. Working there for a while doing sound gave me the opportunity to meet a whole bunch of musicians.
Yeah.
Which is funny because later in life I was telling you about this. I was a DJ at a strip club,
Yep.
which is funny because
Whiskers?
no, Little Darlings.
Little Darlings. Okay.
Yeah, it was best place in town. Sexiest gals in town for sure.
Absolutely.
Two songs,
Locally
two
owned.
chances, two dances, little darlings.
How many times a night you had to say that on a mic?
Ooh, I don't know, 6 to 8 hours a night. I would change it up sometimes, but like, I was going somewhere with that, and then I lost it, but it's okay. That happens when you start talking about the club.
It does.
How
Meeting people.
Meeting people is just just very similar because it's still a form of entertainment. So it's just the way the interactions with the entertainment and how they intertwine and stuff. Because how many people that worked in that industry, then I was like, well, start talking about a person and like, you know that guy? It's like, of course I know that guy, baby. Come on.
You ain't wrong.
But
no.
But I digress. So tell us a little bit more about what you're currently doing right now. Like, got any new projects coming up, or?
You know, I do. I think all artists really have, something new that's coming up. You put the load the barrel, and you shoot your shot, and it's not about like having one opportunity, because at this age, I'm 43 years old. We were just discussing this earlier, not over dinner, that it's not about making an impact in your life and becoming a star or super successful or anything like that. It's about the love of the music. Honestly, 110%. I eat, breathe, and sleep music. You can ask my girl, you know what I mean? Like, when I wake up in the morning and I go to work, you can ask my boss, oh, what are you doing on your downtime? Oh, I'm working on a lyric or some shit like that. And when I get home and I make dinner for my kids, what's up, Dad? I'm just thinking about this song, that I'm writing. And, everything's, it's limitless because we've always had limits. For me, personally, I've always been the underdog, and it's nice. I got folks behind me now. I got a friend, John Bailey. We call him Just the MC. He used to produce and rap with us back in, I think we started in 98 and stopped in 05, rap group called Alias. Just the MC, me, my homeboy RH3, who's an R&B singer and producer, and my OG Loot Money, Lot Brian. Shout out to all you guys. Love you guys.
Quick question. Were there aliases to members in Alias?
It's kind of funny. So, of course, our aliases were, Tot Loon was my alias back then. Just the MC was John Bailey's alias, and RH3 and Loot Money, those were our aliases. But Loot Money, who was kind of like the experienced leader in our rap organization, years prior, they had scouted me out of high school to join an organization called Criminal Alliance. I think I was 14 years old when they started scouting me at Everett High School. Criminal Alliance had fractions. We called them divisions, and a lot of it was like local blood gangs, DIE. There was CMM, Cash Money Mafioso, which was the Latino Crip organization, which they scouted me for. And Loot Money had created this Canadian tour idea of creating aliases and taking this group up north and only expanding in Canada. God, I know, right?
No, I like that. That's a good pitch.
But he had everything mapped out for us. Your name's going to be this. My name's going to be that. He wrote a song. It was called Greenback Capers. And it was all about robbing Canadian bakes pretty much and setting us up for life. It was a lot of dreaming, but it was kind of cool.
See, when I think greenback capers, it just makes me think of these crepes I had one time in Portland that were delicious because, that's like the land of food trucks down there. They've got like a billion of them.
You should go to D.C., bro.
But I got a breakfast one where it was like a crepe with like cream cheese, some salmon, and capers, and it was like... Oh.
Shout out to my daughter Justine because she fucking loves crepes. Yep, shout out to you. Okay.
There's a place, ABC Crepes, something along those lines. I'm not going to say their name right because they aren't my sponsor yet. No, they're actually up in Bellingham.
Okay.
And they're really good. If they're still around, they used to have I think it was $50 to enter. But you won money and like a lifetime supply of crepes.
Oh shit.
But it was like eating 5 pounds of crepes in an hour or something.
God.
And it was between 2 people.
Oh, cool.
Where it's like, that's almost realistic.
Yeah, we
I
can
mean,
do
that's still really hard.
110%.
Is it worth the t-shirt? How long do I got to hold it down?
You got to loosen a belt notch and
Am
just
I
go for
ever
the
going to
pesto.
eat a crepe again after that experience?
Well, I mean, what are they filled with, though? You know what I mean? You got your
Well,
strawberries.
you get to pick. You get to pick sweet or savory.
Put some whipped cream on that shit.
See,
yeah.
I would
You could do that at
almost,
the
I'd
fair
want to
with
like
hot dogs.
switch between it. Like, you know, just be like, hold on, I need like 3 sections of meat, then a couple of two or 3 sections of sweet.
Like a meat parfait and shit.
Yeah.
Like what Rachel did on the episode of Friends where it was Thanksgiving.
There was this place called, I think it was like Homestyle Barbecue. It was on 2nd Street in Mount Vernon. They're no longer there. It's just one of those places that opens up and closes every 6 months as a different
That's where I get my honey baked ham.
spot.
Yep.
But they did a barbecue
Satellite
parfait that was some sort of meat, beans, some sort of meat, coleslaw. But it looked like a sundae, and it was like, oh, well, that's just amazing.
They give you
thing.
a pitchfork and you just go,
Go
down
for
on
it,
that
yeah.
shit.
Very simple out there. Shout out to all those businesses that some of them aren't around anymore. A lot of shout outs. It's good. It's good to shout things out. It's like a celebration.
Yeah, to anybody who's lost their business in these times, man, our blessings to you. And I hope you get back on your feet because, I mean, as musicians, we know.
Just gotta keep chugging, I guess, is the best the best you can do. Hopes and prayers out there for everybody. Well, moving on. So continuing your we went off topic. We were talking about you capers in Canada.
Greenback capers.
Greenback capers.
That was all Luke Money's idea. It was a beautiful concept, but you know, that wasn't really. It never expanded upon like it should have. Luke Money wrote a ton of other music after that. Really, my mentor in hip hop. This man, you know, his family took me in. A lot of people might not know, but both my parents are dead and have been for quite some time. I was just a kid on the streets, and he picked me up, dusted me off, always had a place to sleep. His wife at the time, Heidi, you know, she would make sure I was fed. They helped me out with the car. You know, it was a solidified family, us and Cash Money Mafioso. It wasn't even a gang. You know, at that point, I had been beat out of my set at 17 years old back in the day, and I needed a family, and they gave me one, and we would just sit down and write music and perform it. It was great, man. We used to rock Jimmy Z's, which is now Tony V's, or is that what it is? In Everett, down on Hewitt and Broadway.
I thought Jimmy Z's was farther down.
It was Jimmy Z's was the corner bar, and before that it was Mr. Pattywax. Or no, I'm lying. No, that's where the hockey stadium is. You're right. Jimmy Z's was up further,
A little further
on like
down.
Wetmore, maybe.
No, still on Hewitt. It was just a little further down.
Okay.
And I remember, oh my God, one time I got booked to play a set there as a folk singer, and I was playing the small bar side.
Oh yeah,
opening
the
up
pizza
for
side.
3 punk bands, being like,
I
okay,
feel your
well, a
pain.
little bit out of place, no big deal. But it was kind of a smaller crowd, and next door there was like a 5 metal band show going on, and they had not a huge turnout, but bigger than what was going on our side of things. So I'd been done with my set. I played for my 6 people plus the bands, and was happy with that. Got through it, and but just noticed it was like, oh man, energy in here's kind of down because everyone's kind of just grumpy that there's like 6-7 people here. So next thing, but what I loved about Jimmy Z's was there's that door where you could just go into the central door, and since I was a performer, I could go as I pleased between the two.
Absolutely.
And it was funny because I had gone over there, and it was a metal show, so they were trying to do their pit. And I just got all sorts of extra rough in the pit. and then ran into the door, and they chased me in. And so halfway through this band set, I forget the band, but they're playing. And next thing they know, they get like a bum rush of 20 people who just like knock us all around and shit, and little chaotic. But that happened for about an hour before they were like, yo, guys, cut that the fuck off.
That's wild, bro.
But that was like my Jimmy Z's experience.
I get it. I mean, my Jimmy
I don't
Z's
think I was
experience-
invited back.
I don't blame him. I mean, Jimmy was kind of cool back in the day. We're talking late 90s, early 2000s. You know, we would go in there and Cash Money Mafioso, we'd open up for Sir Mix-a-Lot, Too Short, E40, all kinds of, you know, back when these bands actually still held some prominence.
Yeah. Do you think Sir Mix-a-Lot's Posse is on Broadway when they're in Everett?
No, it's two different Broadways. Obviously,
I
we're
know
talking
it's
Capitol Hill. Or
I know we're talking,
downtown
but I'm just saying,
You know
like,
what I mean?
if they travel, if they all go up to Everett to hang out,
There's a Broadway in every major
would they
city
just
in America.
go to
so
Broadway at that point?
It depends on if they're honorary or not. You know what I'm saying? You'd be on Broadway in New York down at Pioneers.
And then if they go to New
Times
York
Square.
City and they go down to Broadway,
on Times Square.
are they doing show tunes?
Nah,
Because that would be the more appropriate thing on New York's Broadway.
I think DMC and them would run them off the block personally. But, you know, that's East Coast, West Coast beef. I don't fuck with that anymore, you know?
It's not really a thing anymore,
It's not,
really.
no.
Which is a beautiful thing that it's not a
Everybody's compilating together. Everybody's working together, and it's
thing.
gorgeous.
As it should be. Like,
The
beef
South is
should
kinda going
happen,
through some
but beef
shit.
should never go to the point of violence and stuff. Keep it to wax. Go back and forth on tracks.
Yeah.
If it gets bad enough, celebrity boxing it out. Everybody gets paid.
Well, Jake Paul's been doing it, you know.
Oh man, like he has such a mouth, but like,
but he's been training hard enough to back it up, you know.
Yeah.
I follow boxing quite a bit. Oh, well, not. I
he
wouldn't
didn't
say
look
I'm a-
pretty in the Nate Robinson fight, but
Hey,
he
he laid
looked
that
way
cat out,
prettier
you
than
know.
Nate Robinson
I'll
did.
tell you what. I mean, yeah, that's neither here nor there. That's not music related. So
Oh yeah, no, but that's beauty of this show.
Right,
is
yeah.
this. Okay, since we're off the topic of music right now, give me 1 second. Favorite
right.
pro wrestler, if you have one.
honestly,
Yeah, and this is
so I thought
any
about
time
this.
period.
I know, and you understand. You know, I'm 43 years old. I grew up in WWF. Can I say that?
Yeah, I think so. I mean,
Okay.
just
So for those of
now,
you
I
that
think you're
don't
talking
know,
about the World
copyrights.
Wildlife Federation.
The World Wrestling Federation, you know, in the 80s, that was my thing. I used to jump off the top of the back of my mom's couch, which was the turnbuckle, you know, with her big throw pillow, and I'd bomb on her cat, or who, if I had a friend over or whatever, and that was my thing. The Ultimate Warrior was my guy. I had a figurine of him, and, you know, that was like very important to me as a child. But when I found out that wrestling was scripted and acted, and I won't call it fake because it's not fake, it's real. You need athletic ability and, you know, weight management and training and all that to do
And you
that.
do get beat up because
And yeah, you do get
it's hard
slapped on.
to fake jump
That
30
was an
feet off
eye opener
something.
for me though. And so at, God, I want to say 10 or 11 years old, I took myself up to the local Boys and Girls Club in Greenwood, Seattle, Washington, and I joined a real wrestling team. And I wrestled 2 seasons a year all the way up until my senior year when I got attacked by a EPD canine and I couldn't go any further. Wrestling is a part of me. I loved it. It was my world, you know, the training, the discipline. Shout out to Coach Kevin Corbett, all my coaches in USA Wrestling, all of that. Down in Greenwood, you know, it was a big move. So when you talk about wrestling, it hits like a soft spot right here for me, because you know, that kept me out the streets. Literally saved my life. Wrestling,
That's awesome.
you know, collegiate and freestyle, not scripted, but
Yeah. See, when I come from the just like, well, I've said in the past, my heroes are like Randy Savage, Ric Flair. Andy Kaufman is one of my all-time favorite professional wrestlers, and I think it's because of the influence of the modern day heel.
Yep.
What heels are nowadays and how they act for shock factor and just being the asshole is what he did back with Jerry Lawler.
Woo!
And just like
I'll give a Ric Flair for you.
just doing the whole intergender champion thing and just being a complete dick.
Yeah.
And that wasn't really what heels were doing back then, and it slowly worked its way to where it's like that was more, you didn't even see it till like the Attitude Era of heel.
Well, shout out to The Rock and his old man too.
Oh yeah, no, The Rock's The Rock doesn't need any more shout outs.
I'm just saying,
Dwayne's doing fine.
I know he is, but there's young cats like
I
us
mean,
that-
shout out, you do a great job. You're a very handsome man. I would like to at least put my hands on your chest to see
so
how
would my
solid
girl,
you
bro.
feel.
Shit.
Just to see, I imagine if is he made out of rocks? Is that how he earned the nickname?
I mean, biologically, I'm not certain that that's possible, but you know, it takes a certain chemical structure to format geology. So,
okay. I think I took
see how
that
I did
class
that?
at one point.
I nailed that shit. It was
Yeah.
geology.
Geology.
Nah,
It's
real
this-
talk though. Real talk though. I do want to say,
That's the
another
study
big
of the Rock.
Another big influence was the Undertaker. Rest in
Gotta
peace.
love the Undertaker.
Yeah. Or rest in retirement, whatever.
Right.
I don't know.
Yeah,
if he
no,
died.
he's doing fine. He's
I
all
saw
like,
some
he
shit
got
on the news.
controversy from calling wrestling now soft, where he's just like, it's soft now.
Because it's not
Which,
like it was.
because everyone's
yeah.
a little more laid back, and it's a more modern time where everyone
Right.
wants to hang out, play video games, and they still train, and they are amazing performers.
Right.
With the move sets they pull off now compared to back in the day of, I'm going to hold you in a headlock for 10 minutes.
You want to hear a story about a wrestler?
Yeah.
So when I was in high school, me and this kid had the same freshman year. I think it was 1992. We graduated in 96. His name was Eric, but everyone called him Otto Olsen. Okay. I think he wrestled 145 at the time. I was 101 all the way up to my junior year. And then my senior year, I just bumped up one class to 107. But Eric was bred for this shit, right? He was also a DJ. And he ended up being my DJ in high school. So after wrestling practices, his mom had an apartment right across the street at Everett High School. We would just go right up into his room, and he had this cool little broadcasting gear where he could transmit about 6 miles around the city.
Oh, that's pirate radio.
Yeah,
that's
pirate
fun.
radio. Yeah, fuck FCC, right?
Yeah.
And he would play my jams. Me and my buddy Frank would get on there and shit. Shout out to Frankie Gonzalez. We do our thing. But anyway.
Well, allegedly, right?
Allegedly, yeah. Otto, he actually went on to win state. God, I want to say 3 out of his 4 years. He went to Iowa, which is the best
Which is
college
the wrestling.
Yeah.
No, that's the wrestling school, not the wrestling school.
Right, yeah, the best college in the nation to wrestle for, and he went on to the Olympics. And then he came back home and he started doing MMA. And he's chill right now from what I see. I mean, we don't talk and shit, but I follow his Facebook and stuff. And, that's something I look up to, that initiative that you put in physically to do things like that.
Oh, yeah.
And
no.
that's kind of what drives me in my music. Like, if he can do that, then I can do this.
Oh, stuff like that has actually driven me to work. I started an exercise regimen. I know it sounds
Attaboy.
surprising, but it was mainly the other day. I was getting out the shower, and don't get me wrong, most of my life I've been underweight. Been called underweight.
Same,
Doctors say underweight.
High metabolism, same.
I have
So-
finally got up to
40.
where I float around 200 pounds at the heavy point,
You're about, what, 6
206.
foot?
Like 6'2".
Oh, wow.
ish.
God, I'm so fucking jealous. Punk.
So I'm at the heaviest I've ever been, which I'm so happy about because I've always been called underweight,
Me
and I have
too.
this dream of getting up to 227 pounds because then I'd be the same size as Chris Jericho. And he's not huge, but I wouldn't want to fight him in a bar.
Right, Chris Jericho.
But
doesn't he have a brother? The Jericho brothers?
no, Christian. Yeah, he's got his band is cool. Fozzy, he's done so well with Fozzy, it's ridiculous.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't know he was a rocker like that.
Oh yeah, it's closer to 80s butt rock metal style stuff. Which I mean, there's a lot of it that I totally dig, and I say that as a term of endearment. Just saying that for the YouTube listeners. Or the Patreon listeners, because I do have a Patreon, and you can go to patreon.com/Zach Michaud Music, and you can watch this show 3 days early. Watch it on a Monday instead
like
of
a
a
great
Thursday.
deal. Yeah.
All for $3. the tiers start at $3. Go to Patreon if you want to at some point. Links down below.
I recommend that.
They might be above. But back to the tunes, since,
That was our commercial break.
that was kind of the commercial break, I
Awesome.
guess.
My first commercial break.
www.zachmichaud.com.
Yeah,
Always looking for sponsors. Put your sponsorship here or here.
Actually, this wouldn't be a bad investment.
Maybe right over there or something up there. I'm leaving blank wall space, and you may see why, because you too can put your sponsorship up on my wall. Just leave me a DM. I enjoy those. But so getting back to it. So we've been talking a lot about the past. So currently working on, what do you got going on right now with the whole pop rock thing?
I'll tell you what, man. I want to say that maybe 2014, January 4th. Yeah, I have to nail it down. That was my turning point, where hip hop just kind of became, I don't want to say obsolete in my life, but I felt like it turned its back on me. If you know what I mean, it's a culture. It's a way of life. It's a way of living. And in some ways, I still do live that life, but I delved into the real me, and the real me had a lot of unresolved rock and roll. I tried to simulate that. I'm just not the rocker that I thought I was, or maybe my father was. My dad, I grew up him playing guitars and bands and all that shit, and who wants to grow up to be like their dad when you're a kid, right?
Oh, yeah.
You don't. But, after you lose your father and he's gone for some time, decades, you end up regretting that shit, and you want to. And I taught myself how to play guitar. I'm still not the best. I probably won't ever be, but every day is a learning experience for me. So I just started writing songs. Like I was telling you outside, I write from the heart. I don't really write anything fiction. It's all self-experiences, things I've observed and seen in my life. And that brought a lot of popularity, I want to say. I'm not the man or anything, but I step into certain places, the grocery store, or I go to a casino or some shit, and people are like, hey, I know you. You wrote that song about that girl, that single mom, and shit like that. I'm like, wow, it hits you. So I just want to keep doing that. And my goal is to actually be a bona fide songwriter, to where one day, maybe my song can win an award, like a Grammy or some shit, It doesn't have to be me singing it. It can be, any one of those motherfuckers out there in Bollywood, those clowns and shit. But I would like to contribute.
That's a market to hit.
Big time.
I think I could probably get some pull over there. Someone would like me.
Yeah.
So many people there that someone.
You've got a niche. You've got a sound, bro. I mean, we can make this about you for a minute.
Oh,
right
we
here.
should not, because
We should. I'm telling
no,
you.
the whole reason is because my name's already on the show, so people already know.
Right.
Thanks,
I wonder
all
how many
30
of
of you watching.
Can pronounce it right, though. You know what I mean?
Every single one.
Good for you guys. Y'all are real.
Yeah.
Support. Yeah.
The show shows.
The show shows. Well, I support you, bro.
Well, I appreciate it, and I thank you for coming on pretty soon here. You should probably perform, but I'd like just to mention out any place people can find you on the interwebs.
Absolutely, man. The worldwide net, shit. You go to AOL. No, I'm just kidding. you can find me at any premier
Tot Carlo
website.
at juno.com.
It's literally YouTube / Tot Carlo Music, Facebook / Tot Carlo Music, Instagram / Tot Carlo Music. I think I've got one of those. Gosh, what is that? That just music one. It's on my phone. Hold on.
Are you thinking of Reverb Nation?
Reverb Nation. Thank you. I got one of them too.
Shout out Reverb Nation. I use them. They're not a bad platform. There's
It's
so many
weird.
platforms that you can use, and I find it's got a couple handy things that work. Not even that I use the website directly. I use it more as like a reference point, and then
I'm not even certain that Reverb Nation is accurate, because in recent times I've been ranked nationally number 8 in pop rock music, and I don't see.
Oh, that's the Reverb Nation charts.
Okay,
See,
yeah,
everyone
yeah.
has their own charts.
Right,
I mean,
right.
so that's based off of every artist that's on Reverb Nation.
But how could I possibly number 8? You know what I mean? Of all the beautiful pop rock musicians out there, you know.
That's believable. I'm number 1. I've been number 1 in Mount Vernon.
I was number 1 in Stanwood
for at least a dozen years now. It's my big ego thing. Like, no matter what happens to me in my career, I'm like, hey,
it's gotta
at least
be like,
I'm number 1 in Mount
Vernon. If you
Vernon.
log on this amount of times and share this much, maybe we'll give you credit or some shit like that.
I think that's basically it.
Yeah. Okay.
They're
Well, one day,
they're
right? We can
taking
dream.
advantage of advertising because
Like a
you're basically advertising them. But that's I'm not even against that. Always looking for advertising and sponsorship.
Constantly.
I would. I'll sell out pretty quick. I'm not even gonna.
No, it's fine, and I'll do it for you, man. I've got to say to everybody that's out there watching, any of my friends or family or business partners, I think this would be a great investment for you. I've known Zach for a long time. This is going to be a good show. This is going to blow up, and you could have your insignia. Bam,
up on the wall, right there.
Right there.
And if you click the link below and watch the 1-hour webinar that I'm going to have, I have a 5 steps to become an actor for a webinar.
This guy, get the fuck out.
It's not like I'm not actually going to show you the program to make the money. I'm going to show you how to become an actor for one of those people that has a program that makes.
And you're one of those people, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
That's my new goal. Is I'm just going to take over the world with parody.
Do you have an E-Trade account?
Absolutely not. I don't. Let's see. I did Cash App because Joe Budden told me to. Even though I'm also trying to start a beef with Joe Budden because I think that would be fun.
Yeah.
Because I've noticed in his past beefs he doesn't really do anything.
Yeah,
so he's one to just like straight take some shots, and it's just like,
realistically.
Nah. I've listened to a couple of his albums; they're all right.
Have you seen that cat?
Shout out to Parks. He does a good job with the mixing.
Yeah.
That's right, Joe. You're mixed really well.
So you don't fuck around in the stock market or anything?
I've been trying to get into it a little bit, but what I would like to get into more is I really think that if everyone started investing in silver and gold.
Yeah, well, that's always been the reliable go-to.
And if you don't have the finances to do that.
Yeah. Nope, soluble values, right? Yeah, something you could physically hold in your hand and stash away. Absolutely.
Actually, no, I believe that since all forms, the concept of money and currency is just a man-made concept anyway.
I agree.
So you could totally take any chunk of any material and be like, this is worth this much.
And given what the feds are doing,
if we all really cared that much at how everything is, we're all seeing how it's going for this big nasty downward turn, that like to fix things
it's
they
looming.
could seriously, okay guys, we're going to work out some terms. There's going to be a big reset button. Not a lot of people are going to like it, but it's going to help out way more people than the people that aren't going to like it.
True.
And but that's a power control thing, and that's way too serious for this show.
Political, yeah. Sorry, didn't mean to spark
because
that
I mean,
flame.
if you want to, well, you can balance that out by what's your favorite Q conspiracy?
I don't follow Aeon or any of that shit.
Oh no. I get it, but what's your favorite one you've heard? Like, as far as just like, what one have you heard where you go, how do people even fucking believe this?
I mean, I do go down the rabbit hole at times, and I'm a reasonable man, so I often sit back and I think, well, yeah, that could be plausible, you know, possible, might be, but did it really happen? Nah, I highly doubt that. Like the election, you know.
Oh,
that's one.
That's funny because when I have discussions on the internet, people tend to clap back at me with the, oh, you just live in unicorns and rainbows and blah, blah, or rainbows and unicorns.
They clearly haven't seen where you're at.
And the funniest thing is I tend to respond, my biggest response as of late is, well, the nice thing about that, is at least I can prove one of those things.
True.
You can prove rainbows.
Yeah.
You can't say the same about like the 2020 election fraud.
True. True.
Or any of that stuff, really. And I don't like to lean left or right,
Me
but just
neither.
there
I'm
are
centered.
certain things where it's just
what
like.
what do you think about the colony of Americans across the entire country who have followed the rhetoric of our 45th president and really just, blindly
Oh, well, I mean,
followed suit?
it makes
that's
sense
nuts.
because we've slacked on education
Big
over
time.
decades and
Big time,
decades. So,
yeah.
I mean, and so, it's, I always hope for the best of people.
Of course we
And
do,
a lot of
yeah.
those people are good, genuine people that have just been really led astray and almost
Yeah.
don't know
a lot
any
of
better.
rural territory.
But, at
Right.
the same time, it's
Alone
also
a lot.
America. God love them. Let them do their thing as long as you don't hurt anybody. Don't hurt nobody.
Yeah, or
And-
us. You know what I mean? Like it's getting to the point where there are folks out there that wholeheartedly believe in certain things that may probably not be true, and they're willing to. I'm all for the Second Amendment.
Like
I
a
love
big
guns.
angry sky man that
It's just crazy.
if you don't
These
praise
cats
him,
are-
he punishes you. Like
I
those
stay in
crazy.
Stanwood.
I mean,
There's a GOP office 3 miles from my home, and there are Trump flags everywhere and all that shit. And these people do parades all around my neighborhood and all that shit. And they have their AR-15s and all that stuff. I'm categorizing rifles. I'm sorry. I can't. They could be 2 to 3 rounds. They could be AK-47 rounds. Was that 7.6.2 or something like that? But they have a point to tell, and it worries me sometimes because my children go to school in those areas and shit. And I think that today's radicalization is that. I mean, that's my personal opinion.
yeah.
You know what I mean? When I was a kid, radicalization was more of supporting innocent people of color, like Latinos like myself, and blacks and others who are getting killed and murdered on the streets. But now we've got this new breed of radicalization that is, I don't know, maybe sleeper cell racists or white supremacists or
talking about the whole white supremacist movement, or
that's becoming way more than it should, and it needs to be snubbed.
Well, they were given 4 years of being let known it was okay,
Right.
that your thoughts and feelings are validated and you should act on them.
That fucks with me.
And it's crazy. And just I just view it in the sense, because this is America, so I mean, like, your thoughts are like one of the only things you truly own and control
For all of us, yeah.
So believe whatever the fuck you want to believe.
Absolutely, yes.
Do not infringe on anyone else's
Yep.
life.
Don't impose it
due
on
to
me.
your beliefs.
Right. Don't
So
impose it on me.
hate
Exactly.
whoever you even want to fucking hate. I ain't even trying to tell you, like, if you don't like a person, don't.
Yeah.
Whatever. I mean,
America.
but just like,
You're
it's
free
America.
too.
That's
Yep. I wholeheartedly believe that.
But don't hurt people. Don't make life harder for other
Don't
people.
impose on them. Yes. Yeah.
And
I'm
then
glad that we spoke about that. That's fucking cool of you to allow that topic on this show.
I allow basically any topic. Don't talk
No
nice
holds
about
barred.
Oprah. Don't talk nice about Joe Budden, even though, I mean,
You
I
don't
keep
like
mentioning.
Oprah?
Huh?
You don't like Oprah?
I love Oprah.
Why can't I talk nice about her? My girl loves Oprah. fool.
Okay. Well, just I'm worried
Props
about.
on her
I'm
for
worried
being a
about
weather
getting.
girl or
I'm worried
whatever
about
and
getting
going to where
clipped
she's
by
at.
YouTube there.
Oh,
'Cause
yeah.
certain
No, we
names you
said
can't-
Smoke Raw. It's a new brand of weed that's coming out of Arizona. Smoke Raw.
No,
That's what we're talking about.
Oh, it's so great.
I like it, and I don't smoke, but I like it.
No, I just like shouting out random names because I figure I'm going to try to get some clout
A trigger
somewhere.
will happen
All the
somewhere
kids
in the
these days
algorithm.
are clout chasing, so I want to get in on that. It seems
Bro, my
popular.
daughter's approaching like 1.5 million viewers on TikTok. Shout out to Lex Taylor. I think that's her TikTok thing. Alexis Taylor. Yeah, she's big time.
I was like this close to doing a TikTok. Steel Beans keeps telling me I need to do a TikTok.
Yeah.
I'm
Well,
not
China's
gonna do
gonna
a
follow you
TikTok.
if you do.
Nah, they follow me anyway with the cell phone that
I
I
know,
carry,
right?
just like the NSA, just like everybody else. It's fine. Speaking about an awesome segue, I think it's time. We've been talking so much about other things. We talked a little bit about music.
You're right.
It's time for you to start playing some songs.
Let's do it, man.
Okay.
Yeah.
Folks, we'll be right back. I'm going to walk away, and the editing will make it seem like I didn't even try to edit this.
Right. Tot Carlo, 1 out of 3.
Welcome back, folks. Right now we're having a Michaud show premiere. Ladies and gentlemen, Tot Carlo.
Thank you, sir. This is stormy weather. Within this world, well, I've observed the day. But what is real and what is fake now? And every word, it goes unheard, I feel. From those that build to the ones that break down. So get inside me and realize me for who I am. Don't be afraid of the master plan now. Don't divide me, reunite me once again. And that reminds me why we need love. 'Cause if your brain's stormy weather, I may rain back on you. We could surely fit together. And this I know it to be true. 'Cause I don't trust you, say I'm often thirsty for what I need. So blow my brains and say my name, yeah. And don't you dare go easy, or you won't see me again. A toxic mind, my heart was blind, it was hasty. To who you trusted and what's your beef now at any time. My broken mind, it may feel that the ones who heal are the ones that break down. It's all inside me, it's all that matters to who I am. We stand so close to the master plan now. You can't divide me. I've realized me once again. And please remind me why we need love. 'Cause if your friends stormy weather, I may rain back on you. We could surely fit together. And this I know it to be true. Trust and say I'm often thirsty for what I need. So blow my brains and say my name, yeah. And don't you dare go easy, or you won't see me again. Oh, no, no. You won't see me again. Surely fit together. And this I know to be true. darling, yeah. And don't you dare go easy, or you won't see again. Yeah. No, no, no. Self-control. Just how long did you go so far after you made my world implode? 'Cause I don't know where you could muster up that kind of self-control. Every time I see her smiling, mischievous within her mind, all of the while I keep on striving. It's time that I make this love of mine. When you want it, go. When you need it, oh, when you got it, girl, you make me know that I feel it. Roll when I need it, oh, how mean is your own self-control. Self-control. Well, I've been running from your crazy, 'cause it makes me want to go all of the way with the places you take me. Baby, you make me lose control. And I never thought that you would be anxious, ready to take your hand in mine. Let's waste the day and throw away the blankets while we blow each other's minds. When you want it, go. When you need it, oh, when you got it, girl, you make me know that I feel it. Roll when I need it, oh, how mean is your own self-control. Self-control. Roll when I need it, oh, how mean is your own self-control. Self-control. Your self-control. Self-control. Your self-control. This next song, this last song, it's called Four-Letter Word. Take my time on down that highway road, and I don't see too many stops for me. Ain't no telling just how far I go. Hope this future still got a lot to see, 'cause when you're dreaming of a four-letter word that you deserve, well, I've been sipping on that purple wine, baby. Hit my vape and let my mind go free. And even still, my God, how hard I've tried. I know that there is someone made for me. So when you're dreaming of a four-letter word, deserve. You deserve. I see these girls out here alone raising their kids. Well, some do night school, but most work the late shift. And baby daddy even gone far too low. So know deep down inside the girl this is your song. Now go ahead and pour their sweet white wine. Relax your mind and let your heart beat true. Even still, my God, how hard I try. I know that there is someone made for you. So when you're dreaming of a four-letter word, you think of love and hope and all that you deserve. Never forget what you're worth, 'cause you got head of pain and fear on your nerves. When you're dreaming of a four-letter word that you deserve. Yeah, you deserve. Yeah, you deserve. Yeah, you deserve. Yeah, oh, you deserve. Yeah, you deserve. So when you're dreaming of a four-letter word that you deserve.
And we're back, folks. Thank you very much, Todd. That was fantastic. You sounded great.
I really appreciate that, Zach. Thank you, man. Thank you, everybody out there in the universe. Like, it's very cool for y'all to watch this show, peep it out, subscribe, make sure you hit that bell, hit that subscribe button.
I like how you said it, because when I say it, it's very confusing. I'm like, yo, there's stuff down there that you should do, and sponsors. I have wall space. You know, if you just want a random phrase up on the wall for an episode, my PayPal will be down in the link. Donation. Just send a donation. If it's a random words, your favorite word, try to keep it at least under NC-17.
This guy, that sounds interesting.
Well, yeah, that is interesting. So, as we finish up here today, a few more questions for you. Just things I ask everybody because I just love to know, because I'm an entertainment slut.
Absolutely. You are. No disagreement there.
I love it. So, books of the week. What's your books going on?
I've got a book, not necessarily of the week, maybe of the millennial, you know what I'm saying, at least of the decade. I read a book called Labyrinth. It's written by Detective Russell Poole. He is a former detective of the LAPD. And it's the first chronological memories of the murder of Tupac Shakur, which happened to be one of my greatest admirable mentors. Like, I love Pac. And I understand his acting career and all of that stuff, so I understand the way that things ended up for him. You know, Detective Poole's book is just a ground marker, and there are other programs out now that were built off of his. But yeah, that's a really good read. It's, you know, only like maybe 350 pages. You know, you can go through it short time.
Oh, nice. Yeah, very nice.
Labyrinth.
Have to check that out. It's worth a Google then.
Oh, absolutely, yes, absolutely.
My book of the week, because this is a weekly thing on the Michaud Show. I know none of you care, but you should. Reading is more important than 90% of the things we do.
Including video gaming and all that stuff. No disrespect towards it, but literature is what got us to where we are today. And if we stop reading,
I just realized I didn't grab my book, but my book is over on the bookshelf. It's the autobiography,
oh yeah, I see that. Yeah.
Life by. Well, it's not an autobiography. It's the
Life
biography Life. It's the life of Keith Richards.
Oh,
I
shit.
basically use
The
it.
man who never dies.
I basically use it as my Bible. When people refer to holy spiritual books and go to phrases and segments that make them feel better about, like, when I feel lost in my path anywhere,
Right.
I open that book up to a random page. I read a little bit about Keith,
I didn't know that.
and then it just it really helps me get
Correct
through
me
my.
if I'm wrong. He was the guitarist for Mick Jagger.
The Rolling Stones.
Rolling
Yes.
Stones. Yeah, sorry.
Yes.
My bad. I'm as old as I am. I don't
Oh,
follow
no
many
big,
Euro
no
bands,
big deal. It's okay to forget who the Rolling Stones are. I mean, everybody does, right?
Big mouth.
Yeah, big.
And he's like fucking 80. Literally.
Yeah, no, he's still doing well. He's pulling in trim, way younger than him, and having babies and stuff. Mick Jagger's a pimp. Keith Richards, even more pimp, because he's
Big time.
such a good guitarist, true legend. I love him.
I'm not gonna that, but
So moving on from books, we're moving on. What's your movie of the week?
oh man. I mean, anybody who's out there watching right now, they're saying this before I even say it. Snatch. Snatch is my joint. God, I'm kind of dumbfounded right now. Madonna's ex-husband was the director.
Oh, Guy Ritchie.
Guy Ritchie, thank you. And he's done Lock, Stock, and Smoking Barrels and a bunch of more recent flicks. But Snatch, that's, when I talk about British, that shit catches my attention. It's a comedic gangster film, and that's been my life. Comedy and gangster all in one, so I really dig that shit. It fits at home. Fucking Pikeys.
Yeah. My film of the week. I remembered to grab this one. Is Grand Theft Parsons, featuring Johnny Knoxville, who he plays Phil Kaufman, who was the manager for Graham Parsons, and this is based on a true story. When Graham Parsons died, Phil Kaufman stole the body from the coroner's office because him and Graham Parsons had made a pact that when he passed, he wanted to be burned out in Joshua Tree Desert. So he had kidnapped the body from the coroner's office, and it's like one of those chase movies. It's highly entertaining. The first time I ever saw it, it was on IFC at 3 a.m, and I went, Johnny Knoxville in a Graham Parsons movie? What? And then watched it, and it's become one of my all-time favorite movies, Grand Theft Parsons.
Grand Theft Parsons.
And
Respect.
one more thing before we go there, Tot. I want to thank you again for coming down and doing the damn thing. And
thanks for having me.
And shout any more. Make sure you check him out. Google Tot Carlo Music.
Anything / Tot Carlo or Tot Carlo Music, you will find it there.
That's right. I got one more thing for you. Would you like to touch my ball?
I absolutely will touch a ball, bro.